we'll go. I just started recording it. Just make sure your guys are all muted. And for those on the phone, I'll mute your audio. And we'll unmute you, we'll unmute you at the end so you can ask questions. So I'm going to hold, we have a couple quick announcements, but I'll hold them till the end because I want to just get right into the meat of the call, and that's with our special guest, CJ McDonald. So CJ has been a coach since 2010 when she signed up as a discount coach, like so many people we know, and didn't start actually working the business until 2013. So I just laughed that for 2 years she worked corporate America and
no, it was 3. It was 3 full years.
Yeah, right. My math's nothing. And she's a Star Diamond coach, and she left her corporate. I love this. She left her corporate job in 2015, which is really exciting. So she left earlier this year, and I know CJ. Oh, hold on. I'm on a call. I can't talk right now. Dinner's already made. Nick has what's all them. It's just come home. Okay, sorry. So anyway, CJ and I met just like this on a Zoom call. So I have the pleasure of being on a mastermind call with CJ every week. And I have to be honest, I don't think a week has gone by that I haven't gotten a nugget of information from CJ. Her specialty is mentoring coaches. She loves it. It doesn't matter if you're not in her downline. She will drop everything to get back to you or help you or share information with you. And I love it. And so this call came about because our call kind of went into Facebook. And that's that Facebook, we're all trying to figure it out, right? Because we're pretty convinced there's a magic sauce to it. I'm come to find out there's no magic sauce, but there's a lot of information and nuggets that you can get from people. Everybody does it a little differently. And on this one call, I was like frantically taking notes because CJ was telling such great things. I was like, oh my God. And I put him into action right then and there. So that's when I asked her, could you do a call for me? Because I think it's so, like, I can talk, but other people know it so much better than I know it. So I'm so excited. CJ, I'm going to mute myself and you are on.
Okay, so before you do that, can you do me one favor?
Yes.
Can you put it on the gallery view so that I can see like more people? Like up in the right-hand corner, there should be like a gallery view because right now I see you, which is great. And then I see a couple of really small faces at the top.
I just put it on gallery view. Do you have the ability to do that as well?
Yeah, maybe it's mine. Hold on. Okay, there we go. I can see more faces.
Yay!
Yay! Okay. All right. Hi. Okay. So thank you for that introduction. So just a little bit more history about me. I was in corporate America for 22 years, and I did really well in my last like 3.5 years in corporate America. If you were to add all of my W-2s up, I made 1.5 million. So, well, over. So I did really well in corporate America. But what happened was in 2013, I landed my butt in the hospital. And what they thought was a heart attack ended up not being a heart attack, thank goodness. But it scared me enough to say, there's got to be more. And so I, like Marsha had shared with you, I'd been a coach since 2010. But I was a discount coach. I wasn't in it for the business. I was in it for the discount. And a post happened to come across. I was in the hospital for 36 hours. Running just tons of tests, and a post happened to come across my feed from Hillary Kelly. And what's interesting is that Hillary and I started our programs, our fitness programs, at the exact same time, the exact same month. And the post that I saw, I'm not sure if any of you follow her, but the post I saw was essentially her moving her and her family from some crazy cold state to Florida, and not just moving, but like a beach house, like a house like on the beach. Now we did pretty well for ourselves, but I'm like, holy crap, how did she do that? And she had mentioned in there Beachbody. So that was really kind of my wake up call, because I was traveling 180,000 miles a year. I was missing birthdays. I have 4 kids, so I was missing birthdays and dances and all that kind of crazy stuff. And so I knew that there was a better way, and my better way ended up being Beachbody. So I started working the business the end of January. I was diamond by March, 2-star like right after that. I mean, it just was like a boom, boom, boom. And then of course I hit life, and I had a couple lulls in my business, and then I'd have to build really hard to, get it back up. And then I'd hit another lull in my business and build it back up. And the latest lull is tied to me retiring from corporate America. So we had paid off $60,000 in debt with Beachbody money. Our next goal was essentially to retire me. So we picked a date of March 31st, 2015. So I retired, I resigned, I gave my notice. My last day was the 31st. We went on the Success Club trip to Cancun, and then we came home, and we don't live around our family. So my parents had come into town to watch our youngest because our 3 older are in college. And so we did this whole plan. Like, my husband had to have a surgery on his hand, and I had to have a surgery on my hand. So we're like, we'll just do it right after Cancun. Like, dumb, but that's what was our decision. My parents were going to be there. So anyways, long story short, we had this, he had his surgery, we got back Sunday night. He had his surgery on Monday. I had my surgery on Wednesday. And by Friday, so this is like 2 weeks after I'd retired. By Friday, we were back in the hospital. And to make a really long story short, my husband had a surgery on his right hand, which is his dominant hand. And unbeknownst to us, the doctor totally screwed up, and he no longer has the use of his dominant hand. Now, I share that with you for a really big reason. The reason is that had the timing not been right, had it not been, and I'll just say it, God's timing, I resigned. Now, remember, I was traveling 180,000 miles a year, which is equivalent to me being on 3 planes per week from San Diego to DC. So I was gone all the time. And so on that fateful day when the doctor said I didn't take the tendon, I took the nerve, and he will never regain use of his right hand again, it was really critical for us as a family because I didn't have to travel. I could actually be home, be present, and be available. So when you think about the frustration of working this business sometimes and the lulls and trying to figure it out, remember that you're doing this for a reason. And whether your reason be you want to be a stay-at-home mom, or whether it be you want to retire from your corporate job, or whatever your reason is, hold on to that reason because you don't know what's coming around the other corner. We had no clue that he was going to essentially lose his right hand. He's essentially like an amputee. So he was a personal trainer and a performance coach by nature. That was what he did. And so for him, he essentially lost all aspects of the ability to build his business in what he did. So I want you guys to be thinking about that as we roll into the topic today, which is social media. So social media is one of those topics that's really tough because for most of us, we build our businesses on social media, and it's not that easy to figure out. It changes on a regular basis. So today we're going to focus on Facebook. But before we get into that, I want to just talk to you a little bit about some of my opinion as far as do's and don'ts. Now, I preface that with my opinion because I want you to know that everybody builds their business differently, and everybody has different opinions when it comes to how to build social media. So for my opinion, when you're on social media, I do not believe that you should take a picture with your Shakeology cup. Now, if you have, I'm not knocking you. I'm just saying I personally don't think so. Selfie. And the reason is because that's not you. You're branding Beachbody. Beachbody brands Beachbody. Carl can do that and get away with it, and everybody loves it, and he'll get a ton of likes. But we shouldn't do that. You really want to focus social media around branding you. So I would say when you're posting on social media, my recommendation is to never call a product out by name often. So if you're going to do it like less than once a week. So for example, I'm doing the refresh. I'm on day 2. And yesterday I posted a screen capture of my phone with all of my timers. And in it, it said, vanilla fresh plus dinner, Shakeology. And it had all the different don't post, programs anymore. I did in the beginning. And the problem with that is that you come across what we call a hard sell. Whereas when you post something that's more around like what I did with the screen capture of my phone, that's what we consider a soft sell. Now I know that because I came from a sales world. I will also tell you that when I first became a coach, I spent my first probably 2 months really selling, because that's the skill set that I came into this business with. And I did miserably. The minute that I stopped selling and started suggesting and recommending on a very soft, light side, that's when my business actually exploded and I hit diamond literally in like 4 weeks. Okay, so let's dig into social media and specifically Facebook. So just a raise of hands, how many of you have a like page? 1, 2, 3, okay, 4. Okay, so here's the reason, if you haven't started a like page yet, right here is the reason you want to. Anybody heard of Christine Dwyer? Okay, most of you have probably heard of her. So Christine Dwyer, 4 months ago, got locked out of all of her groups. Now, she has a coaching organization of, I think, 160 some odd thousand coaches. She's probably got a ton of groups, but she had a conflict with her personal page versus her like page and blah, blah, blah. And so they locked her out of all of her groups. Tara Carr is another one that was locked out of her personal profile. So you want to be really careful if you are using your personal profile for business and you haven't gotten a like page yet. You want to be really, really super careful, because if you get shut down, then how are you going to build your business? So if you don't have a like page yet, I would highly recommend doing it. And Marsha, I'll send you a tutorial from Judd that I just came across that essentially walks you through how to set up a like page and what categories and that kind of stuff. But also I'll send that to you so that you can pass that on to your team. Okay, so let's talk about Facebook. So the first thing that you want to ask yourself, you want to score yourself really, on a scale of 1 to 10, how often, daily, we'll say daily, are you posting to your personal page? On a scale of 1 to 10, on daily. Everybody's muted, so hopefully you can unmute yourself. But on a scale of 1 to 10, who's posting at least 2 to 3 times? Or just raise your hands. Okay, perfect. Okay. So here's the best way. If you are okay, so then those same people, on a scale of 1 to 10, show me a number of hands. How many people are getting high engagement? So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being my engagement's crazy high, and 1 being my engagement's crazy low. Okay, 6, 7, 5, 3. Okay. Okay, great. So here's the deal. Everybody builds their business on social media, right? We just talked about the fact that you could get shut down. So here's where it's going to get really good. One of the things that Marsha and I and others on our mastermind, one of the things that we talked about was building what we call a master list. Now, when you start out building a master list, you are basically taking your business off of Facebook. So has everybody heard that BeachBuy is creating a challenge group app? So some people so BeachBuy is actually creating a challenge group app for the sole purpose of getting challenge groups off Facebook. So if Beachbody is creating that, then we need to start thinking about how to build our business in Facebook, but outside of Facebook. So we're going to walk through a handful of things about Facebook. So if you are building your, and I'm a little all over the map, so my apologies, but if you're building your business using a like page, then you have the ability to do ads. You have the ability to boost posts. You have the ability to reach other markets that you wouldn't be able to reach just with your profile page. So for example, let's just hypothetically say that Beachbody was opening up in Asia. You could target your ads towards people in Asia, and not your ads then wouldn't be going in front of other Beachbody coaches in the United States. You can target Canada. You can target, if you're a Spanish speaker, you can currently target Puerto Rico. You can target by state. So let's say your desire is to really build a local community. You can target based on zip code and city and state. And so there's so many more things that you can do with a profile page than you can do with a personal page. So let's talk about, Marsha, do you want me to go through with them kind of the whole process of what we did with the freemium?
No, I think they're not really ready for a freemium, but more, I mean, some of them might be, but more, if you can walk through the ads and the boosting posts and what that does for them. So they kind of can use Facebook to get out of their geographical circle, so to speak, or their warm. And then also how they balance personal and, because that's a big one. Like, how do you balance personal and like page, and how you move people over, like what do you do when someone, that type of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. So so let's talk about, before we go into those two things, I would like you guys to take some notes. So on a piece of paper in front of you, write down the first three things that come to mind when I say, who are you? So what are the first three things that come to mind when I say, who are you? Next, what are the first three things that come to mind when I say, what's your personality type? So the first three things when I say, what's your personality type? And then lastly, what are the three biggest struggles or hurdles that you've overcome in your life? Across the board. It does not have to be health and fitness related. So across the board. So let me give you guys some examples. So who am I? I'm a wife, I'm a mom, and I'm an entrepreneur. So those are just three examples. I'm a lover of horses. I like to be outdoors. I mean, just, I'm a tennis player. What else? I love to travel. Like, who are you? Like that first initial, like, I am blank. And then the second question is what personality or what character traits, right? So I'm an introvert, which people are like, what? So I'm an introvert. I am caring, and I love to impact the lives of other people. These are some character traits, some things that make me uniquely me. Now, we all know, because it's probably in your newsfeed too, that when you're on your newsfeed in Facebook, how many posts from coaches do you see? Like a ton, right? If you take out the coaches that are your coaches, how many do you see? Probably still a ton. And the reason is because Facebook does these algorithms. And so they put in front of you what your interests are. And so you have to essentially change those algorithms within Facebook based on you. So you want to be seeing in Facebook, you want to be seeing things that make you and that connect you to other people that aren't in coaching. Does that make sense? So when you start really paying attention to, like Amy Silverman on a call the other day, she said that at one point in her business, she went through and blocked, not blocked, but she went through and stopped following all of the top coaches. She stopped following everybody with the exception, I think, of her team that was related to Beachbody, because she wanted to change the tide, because she doesn't want to attract Beachbody coaches. She wants to attract other people that are like her and into the same things as she is. But you have to train Facebook to know what you should be looking at. So you want to take the things that you did, the struggles that you've overcome, the character traits, the personality traits, and the things that make you, and you want to start posting about those and less about Beachbody. And then you want to start commenting on friends' posts. This is in your personal page, that are more about the things that are like you. So for example, let's say you love to travel. I'm getting ready to leave for London on Thursday, so I'm all about travel today. So let's say you're getting ready to go on a trip, right? And so you want to be commenting on people that post about traveling, right? Because then you'll train Facebook what you want to see. So that's kind of first and foremost. You need to know who you are, what struggles you've overcome, and then the second thing is you need to know who you want to attract. So that starts to move us into the like page. So has anybody, show of hands, has anybody ran ads yet? Okay. And thumbs up, thumbs down, how successful were they? Okay. Okay. So I took a course called Facebook Business Breakthrough by Mari Smith. She's somebody that I highly recommend. If you're not following her, I would definitely follow her. And I took a course, and essentially she said, before you can build a business on Facebook, you have to know what type of a business and who your customers are. So has anybody on the call created an avatar for who your perfect customer is? Okay, so action item number 1 is to create an avatar. Regardless of whether you have a like page or not, you'll need it when you do get a like page. So you want to create an avatar. So creating an avatar is as simple and complex, but it's as simple as this. Think about the coaches that you currently have in your organization now, or the coaches that are in your team that maybe aren't PS'd by you. And think about the ones that you would love it if they were on your team. And write down their personality character traits. Are they self-motivated? Are they driven? Do they have excuses? Probably not. Like, what are some of the character traits of the people that you would want to attract and want as a part of your team in your coaching team? The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to create an age group. Now, some people don't like to create an age group, but I think it's really important to create an age group for your avatar, because, like, for me, could I mentor a 21-year-old coach? Sure, I'm doing it right now, but is that, like, do I speak her language? Not so much, right? So you want to pick that age bracket. So for me, my age bracket is like 32 to 52. That's kind of my demographics and my age range. So pick it according to you and have about 20-year gap. So you've done the personality traits. You've picked an age group. I personally would prefer women coaches in my organization and male coaches in my husband's organization. And so I actually pick a demographic, a gender as well, but you don't have to. And then you want, in Facebook, you want to do this on paper, because this then translates into any Facebook advertising that you're going to do on your like page. So the next thing is going back to the questions that I asked you at the very beginning, like, who are you? Are you a mom, or do you not have kids yet? Are you single? Are you married? Do you like knitting? Do you like fitness? What do you do in your spare time? if somebody were to give you, $100,000, what would you do with it? Would you go shopping? Would you go on a vacation? Like, you see all these things, like, you want to create like a like-minded group. And the only way to do that is to really look at yourself and look at attracting more people like you. If you're on this call, you're invested in the business. So why don't you would want to invest in the business and invest in other people that are like you, because they're going to be on these calls too. And they're not going to be sitting on the couch making excuses. Oh, I had to take my kid to soccer, so I couldn't make it on the team call tonight, right? So you want to really think about it like that. So you've talked about personality traits. You've talked about their gender and demographics as far as age. And you've talked about some of the things that you like. And then where you bring it in that it kind of brings it all together is your struggles. So for those of you that are currently working in corporate America and you're dying and you just want to quit, then you're probably going to connect with somebody like me when I tell you my story. If you're a single mom with young kids and you just need to earn an extra $500 to make it budget to budget, you want to attract other driven, motivated single moms like you that want to make an extra $500, right? So you really want to nail down what some of the struggles that you've overcome, and then start to actually share those on Facebook. Share them in a very vulnerable way. I mean, Daphne, which is one of the gals in our mentor group, our mastermind group, she posted, Marsha, did you see her post? She posted, I think it was yesterday, about how she was really nervous about doing this call. She was leading this call of a bunch of other people that are, motivated and driven like her. And she couldn't figure out a topic for the call. And she was beating herself up for days and days as she was coming to this call. And then she realized that she needed to do her call on something that she was really great at. And you know what she was really great at? You guys are going to be blown away. She was really great at failing. Like, she was so authentic and transparent that on Facebook, for God and everybody to see, she said, you know what? I'm really good at failing, but I'm also really good at not giving up. And so many people are going to connect with her because she took that failure, she took that really vulnerable place, and then she put it out there. So that's, creating an avatar is like critical. If you don't have an avatar and know like who your perfect coach is, or who your perfect challenger is, then you're going to have a really hard time marketing on Facebook. So then we go into actually marketing on Facebook. And here are my recommendations. So when you begin to market on Facebook, you want to make sure, Marsha, we should have done I should have shared my screen, but I'm not prepared to do that. Let me try, hold on. Let's do this while I'm trying to do something. Does anybody have any struggles that they've had on Facebook?
You guys unmute yourself if you want to. When you say struggles, Karen, you mean just struggling to get that they've shared their struggles, or struggles using Facebook?
Struggles using Facebook. Is anybody having a tough time? Is anybody frustrated by Facebook? And if so, is there a reason they're frustrated?
Somebody's laughing. Well, I know, and I'm sure I'm not alone on this. If you've had a like page for a while, in the beginning, I got a lot of play on my like page, and I used it, and I did not use my personal page for business at all. I mean, I don't even think people knew I was a Beachbody coach on my personal page unless they went digging. And then everything kind of changed in the Facebook world, and I realized, shoot, I'm not getting the kind of play I used to. And I haven't gone, and I went back to using, or I started using my personal page more, which was vulnerable in itself. Right. And I've never gone back to getting that kind of play on my like page. Sometimes I have some spikes, but it's definitely it's a mystery sometimes.
Okay. So for everybody on the call, one of the most powerful parts of the mastermind that Marsha and I are involved in is that we all come to the table with questions and struggles and stuff like that. And so it is so powerful because we can share real time with everybody, like what we're experiencing, what struggles, and then we can brainstorm it right there. So Marsha said something at the very beginning. She said that I like to mentor, and I'm an orphan in this business, meaning my upline doesn't work the business and I'm on her dead leg. So I'm literally on an island. And so when I find people that, don't connect with their upline or are struggling and not getting the support, I don't steal them as a coach because I think that's totally wrong. Instead, I just mentor them anyways, regardless of whether they're in my business or not. And so when we get on these types of calls, for everybody that's kind of muted out, like it's going to be way more beneficial for you if it's interactive. And I probably should have said that in the beginning, because I could sit here and talk to you guys and talk at you guys all day long. But unless I'm answering your specific questions, it's kind of a waste of your time. So this is my personal page. And right here, you can see right here, this is like number one tip. If you have a like page, the number one thing I can tell you to do right now while we're on the phone is go over here to your past work experience or your past work experience, put edit. Even if you're working at a different company right now, make that a secondary company and then actually connect it to your like page. So everybody can see this. So when somebody goes to my homepage or goes to my profile page, they can see right here, I'm a founder at CJ McDonald, and that goes straight to my like page. Okay. So that's like first and foremost, that's the first tip, that if everybody does that tonight, it will be, phenomenal. So the second thing is when it comes to my personal page, I post engaging things or things that I think people would comment on that are totally 120% personal. So like today, I got my hair done for the race. I posted that. I got 82 likes. I posted warning, pull out the Kleenex. And I got 14 likes and 3 shares. This is on my personal page, right? Earlier today, I posted something about my workout for the Tough Mudder. I got 45 likes. So you guys hopefully are seeing, like, there's nothing on Beachbody here. Nothing at all. Like, I posted about my run. And, I only got 5 likes, which I was really, really surprised at. But it was a Majesto, and I haven't messed with Majesto very much. So then here's my refresh, right? First time I tried the refresh, I failed miserably. Here's my vulnerability. I failed miserably because of poor planning. This time I've dialed in and I posted that. I got 33 likes. So does anybody have any question about how I post? Because how I post is how I would recommend, but again, it doesn't work for everybody. So, but let me ask that. Does anybody have any questions about how I post there? And Marsha, I can only see a couple people, so I don't know if they raised my hand.
Just jump in, you guys.
I have a question. I have a question. It's Sibel. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think it was one of those Best of the West calls I was listening to. I can't remember who it was, but it was Bonnie Engel maybe. And she said that she just posts whatever she posts on her personal page. She posts the same exact thing on her like page, figuring not everybody's seeing everything. And if it's someone who's watching her that closely, then cool. Do you double post or do you keep it separate? Do you post different things on your like page?
Yeah, so I post totally separate. Now, if that's working for her, because she's doing amazing, then, I would try it. Here's the thing with social media. You have to try everything. So think about it like this. If you were to try Insanity Max 30 and you were to give it a week, are you going to really have a good idea whether you're going to get results from it or not? Probably not. You need to do a program for at least 30 days before you're going to really determine if you're going to get results. So it's the same thing in areas of our business. So as far as social media, you got to try something for a period of time. Maybe you pick 2 weeks, maybe you pick 4 weeks, but whatever, but you've got to try it. But here's the other thing. So based on what you're doing today, if you do a 180-degree shift and you totally change the way that you post on social media and it works, and then you start to tweak a little bit here, a little bit there, then great. But the real key is if you change too much at one time and you don't get engagement, then you're not going to really know like what it was you changed that didn't work. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like when you're, in a diet or in a nutrition plan, it's better to tweak things a little bit here and a little bit there. Like when you're getting competition ready, like you have to tweak things versus doing a total overhaul. So I personally don't agree with Bonnie, but that's just my personal opinion. Based on the research that I've done, the courses that I've taken, and what's worked for me is I never cross-share. Mm-hmm. I never cross-share. So I don't, from my like page, I don't share to my personal page. And from my personal page, I don't share to my like page. Because they're two totally separate entities. It's kind of like this. If you were working for Apple Computer, would you have an Apple Computer email address? Or would you use your Gmail?
Yeah, no, email.
Right. So you would have a, sallyjoe@apple.com, but you wouldn't use your sallyjoe@gmail.com, right? Why? Because they're two totally different things. One is personal, one is professional. And so for me, my engagement has shot way up now that on my like page, on my personal page, now that I'm not posting about Beachbody on my personal page. Mm-hmm. I'm actually getting engagement. Therefore, I'm having more conversations with people that are on my personal page. Therefore, they're seeing more of my stuff. Which even like this one, it's just a refresh. And therefore, I had 12 comments and I had 5 different private messages of people saying, okay, what's this refresh? What are you doing? So, but again, remember, that's my personal opinion.
So CJ, do you move them from your like page eventually over to, so if you connect, because you can't, so just, if everybody knows, if you don't have a like page and you set up a like page, you can't communicate. You can't message each other unless you're friends. The connection. So do you move them? I know, I obviously, as much as I can, I move them over to my personal page so that we can start conversations.
So I move them when there's a need to. So I friend them when there's a need to.
Right, exactly. Yeah, no.
So, but you can have message conversation. They can message you, right? You just can't, and then you can communicate with them here in your like page, but they have to message you.
Yeah.
You can't message them. When you message them, it'll come from your personal page.
Right.
Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes. Can you talk about what I think a big question is too, there's different, what do you add? What is your philosophy on boosting posts and when you boost a post and what generally is your budget and how long do you boost for? I tend to boost free challenges and I might do $10 for 2 days or
yeah. So let's go back real quick to the other gal's question. One of the things that I do that has really helped with my engagement is that if I post here on my like page, like this one right here. So if you schedule it on Facebook, so let's say I was going to go in and do a post. Does everybody know how on the like page to schedule it in Facebook? Facebook much prefers you schedule using their scheduler than using Hootsuite. So if I were to post something here, then I go down to this publish arrow and I click, and then I can actually backdate it, save it as a draft, or I can schedule it. And then I can schedule it here for in the future. Now, if this was a picture, and I had scheduled it, then what will happen is that over in my notifications, when it is posted, I'll get a notification. Let me go find the one for the one you guys are looking at right there. Oops, I just had it. Sorry, I went too fast. Right there. So you'll get a notification that looks like this, right? So this post right here, this notification is for this post right here. So if I click on this, it'll bring me directly to this post. And then from this post, I can actually tag myself. And I can't do it in this one because I already tagged myself. Okay, let me back up. The gal earlier, her biggest question was, do you double post? And I'm sure it was more geared towards making sure we have engagement, right? Because we're all looking for more engagement in social media so that we can make sure that we're getting our reach out. So Mari Smith and other experts do not believe that it is intelligent use of your time to share your pages and to share back and forth. So how do you get your friends to see your stuff on your like page if they're not your friends? And here's the quick hack. So the quick hack is that you go in and you schedule a post. When you schedule that post and the notification comes in, you then click the notification and then you can go in and tag yourself, because when you're posting in your like page, it won't allow you to tag your personal page. Did that make sense?
Yeah, I started doing that, and I found I got a little more engagement on my like page than I had.
Right. So
they taught us that a Super Saturday, another way to tag yourself without having to go through the scheduling thing. We don't have to go into it now, but I can tell Marsha and she can tell you how to do it.
Yep. So in Facebook, just because there was a different way that I used to do it too, but Facebook just changed. So I don't know if that was the same way I was doing it before, but anyways. Okay. So that's when you have a like page and you want your personal peeps to see your post, then you tag yourself in it, or you have a friend that's a friend comment, and then you comment back as yourself, and then it will show up in your newsfeed. So that's kind of tip number one. Okay, so now ads. So let's say, let me ask real quick, Marsha, how is everybody doing ads? Is everybody doing ads at all? Is anybody doing ads? I think there was two of you.
I think, I know Sibel, Stephanie, you're doing ads. I can't see you, but I know you're doing ads. And I know there's coaches that are going to watch this recording and they're doing ads.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about boosts first, and then we'll go to ads. So the way that I boost is at the end of the day, I have a budget. I have a marketing budget. So at the end of the day, I'll go through and look at my feed and see what got likes and what didn't. And then I will boost something that organically had high reach. So let's say my average organic reach from a post is 200. And at the end of the day, I go through and I scroll and I see that I have an organic reach of 275 on one of my posts. Then I will boost that one. So your post on your Facebook, on your like page, should be timeless, almost evergreen, because you don't want to boost a post that has a start and an end. Does that make sense? Unless you're running an ad.
Oh, so I'm sorry. Did you say evergreen? Like it should keep going?
Yeah, well, no, you shouldn't keep it going, but the post that you should boost should be evergreen-ish, right?
Oh, okay.
Meaning that they're timeless.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of every day, I go through my like page, and based on how many times I'm posting, I look at what post got the most organic reach, and then I boost that one, right? So like this one right here, I ended up having the same amount of comments that I did likes. I mean, it was crazy. And I boosted it, and you see my organic reach was 447. My paid reach was 127. So that post for less than $5, that was a $5 boost, got that much and 99 post clicks, right? This one right here was from a couple of days ago. And I don't remember how I boosted it. Yeah, so like my organic reach on this one was crazy, and my boost didn't help me a whole lot.
Wow, interesting.
So you have to, like Marsha's right, there's no secret sauce, but you have to determine like what works for you. There is a post that I did, gosh, several weeks ago. It's probably too far back for me to, you know what, I'll try. That I like was a total vulnerable post. I didn't even think anything of it. And the reach that I got from that post was freaking crazy. And I ended up getting like 10,000 reach. And it was like 50-50 organic and, I mean, it was crazy. So you just have to so going back to what we said earlier, which is, who are you? What are the personality types? What struggles have you overcome? Who's your avatar? If you're posting to that day in and day out, your organic reach is just organically going to go up. It's just going to organically go up. Now, when you're talking about ads, you know, it depends. Are you running ads for Shakeology? Are you running ads for a challenge group? You know, what are you actually running your ads for? Are you using
Can I ask you a question? Can I interrupt?
Yeah, totally.
Before you go on to ads, back to the boosts.
Yeah.
So you've got this great reach, say. What does that translate into? More likes or more just people coming back to your page? People friending you? Like, what does that translate into?
All three of those. All three of those. Now, for those that are really into the Facebook or the Facebook pages and really wanting to build that, Marsha will tell you that I highly recommend that you create a freemium. And you've probably heard that term before, and if you haven't, and there literally are like 5 simple steps. It seems so complicated, but there's like literally like 5 simple steps. Like I called Marsha and Christine and a couple other people out on one of our masterminds. I'm like, okay, go do it, you know. So it's really not that hard. Like I could teach you how to do it in like literally 5 simple steps, but that is your best bet. Your best bet is to go create a freemium and drive people to that when you boost ads and when you boost posts and you run ads. Why? Because they're your people. So you got to think about it like this. Facebook is rented space. They could shut you down at any moment, and you would lose your entire following. They could go out of business, which isn't going to happen. But I mean, you know, Shalene, if anybody follows Shalene, she got hacked on her Instagram account. She immediately lost 400,000 followers. Had she not built up her email list, had she not had a way to connect with those followers, she would have had a huge negative impact in her business. It's kind of the same thing as the fact that when you get a customer lead from Beachbody, that's a Beachbody customer lead, right? If you were to leave and go to some other MLM in the TLC, in the T's and C's, it says you won't take their customers. I don't know if you know that. So it's so critical to build your own kind of brand and your own organic list. And so, in my opinion, you always should start with a freemium. Now, for a lot of people, they're like, I just want to build this Beachbody business. I just want to get to, you know, $200, $300, $500 a month, and they don't want to kind of go down that path. But when you're getting into Facebook marketing, you're getting into other marketing, you need to have a place to drive them. So when you start to run these ads, you want a place to drive them that's not another social media platform that gives them an actual call to action. Does that make sense? Did that answer your question?
It answered.
Okay. So there's essentially 2 ways for ads. One is right here in your ads manager, and the other one is in Power Editor. If you've never done ads, then my recommendation is that you do it here. in the ads manager, and that you don't go to Power Editor until you're really ready for it. So as you guys can see, like my marketing budget in the last couple of weeks or last couple of days, it's not been high. I'm not, spending, 20, 30, 40, 50, $60 a day. Like some people. My average is probably between $5 and $7 a day. And there's some days where I don't do that, right? So the weekends, if I'm boosting or posting, if I'm boosting, I typically don't do a boost on the weekend.
Can you guys hear me, or
Marsha, you froze? Are you there?
Yeah,
you are.
I'm back.
Okay.
I might have missed something, but can you quickly, because I know it's getting to be 8 and we're going to have to wrap up soon. And I'm sorry I'm echoing, but can you quickly explain boosting versus doing ads?
Yeah. So a boost is essentially they're very similar, right? So a boost is a click of a button, but you can still target it. Ads is more complex. So an ad, like if you haven't done anything on Facebook at all, as far as marketing and ads and stuff, then my recommendation is to play around with the boost. Let's just look at the boost, because the boost is the ads. Creating an ad is just the same as a boost. It's just a little bit more complicated, meaning you're going to have the same very similar options. So let's go down here. Let me find one quickly that I have.
Doing that. What's your thought on for people that are new and starting a like page? Doing an ad to get likes, to get people's eyes on their page.
It doesn't hurt. I mean, it doesn't hurt. Okay, so let's take this one right here. So I had 362 people reached. Okay, let me back up, Marsha. Let me answer that. Whenever you're on social media, whether you're scrolling, posting, boosting, or creating ads, you have to have a purpose. Like you have to have an end goal in mind. If you're just randomly boosting and you're not really paying attention to what you're boosting and the purpose, like she asked earlier, why do you boost? Well, I boost to get more engagement. I boost to get more likes. And those are typically the two reasons that I boost. I'm not going to boost a page or a post that doesn't ask a question, right? So like this one right here, picture of my son. He's like a crazy entrepreneur at the age of 8. It's pretty freaking crazy. And so in this one, I was teaching, right? I was giving some people some recommendations on how to raise an entrepreneur. At the very end, I asked, what are some of your best tips? So maybe I actually want people to answer that, and I want to put some money behind it. So then I would go into Boost. Now, I already have specific targets created, but then it's going to ask me to create over here. It's going to say, people who like your page. Never boost to people who like your page. They already liked your page. You don't really care. You obviously want engagement, but you want people outside of who already like you. So you can do people who like your page and their friends. That one's okay, but never pick that first one. I always do it through targeting, and then I actually create an audience. So like here, remember what I told you? You need to know what your age group is, and et cetera. So you can go so far as to picking countries. You can pick an age, and then you can put words in here of people that you're interested in. Remember, I walked you through at the very beginning, and this call has not gone very systematically like some of my other calls, but when I walked you earlier through the questions that you want to ask yourself before you really start to create a social media goal, you want to have those answered. You want to know who your avatar is before you put money behind anything in advertising or boosting. So you can actually create an interest list right here. So you can click, let's see, Somebody give me a topic. Something you're interested in.
Teachers.
Okay, perfect. So we put teachers. Okay, then I can add that to my list. Give me another one.
Bodybuilders.
So you can pick several. Bodybuilding, bodybuilders, right? And so you add those in there. They'll give you some recommendations, and then you can actually name the audience. So I'm going to call this test _ Marsha. And then I'm going to save that. Now I have that saved audience. So for me, I'll give you guys an example. So when Sean T launched his program, I totally targeted Zumba. Like, that was what I targeted. Why? Because people that currently do Zumba are going to probably freaking love size. So I totally targeted Zumba folks when I launched that. So then all I would do is I would come down here. I would scroll down. It tells me my estimated reach of people. I can figure out how long I want to run it. I can run it for 1 day, 7 days, 14 days. I can pick a date here. And then I essentially would just pick boost. And then if it was approved, which it would be because there's nothing in that post, as far as words or profanity or, weight loss or whatever, then, and that would boost. So that's essentially how all you do for a boost. But the key to a boost is making sure you have you have an edited target, edited audience. You want to make sure that you're targeting people that are like you based on the type of coach or challenger that you're trying to get into your organization. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I want to say that I've done a lot of boosts and I haven't targeted. I just do the simple, just to play around, I've done some boosts. And the problem is she's absolutely right. I get people, and I can tell you right now, I've targeted women. And I get women that there's no way, they're not anything like me. And I know, it's not worth it, because what's happening is these are the people that are going to be on your page. And then when you have like a free challenge or a challenge group and you want to target it, you can do people who like your page and their friends. Then now you've got a group of people that have already liked your page that are like you. And it's the problem I started with in the beginning was I just was like, whatever, throw the net out. And, some are like me and some aren't. But you get people that just, so it really is important to just take that time. And I love the idea of making different groups. Like if you're doing a weight loss, or maybe you're doing something personal development oriented, or.
Okay, so let's give you guys an idea. Hammer and Chisel's coming out, right?
Yeah.
So you create an audience that is like you. Remember the questions that I asked you guys in the very beginning, right? Are you a mom? Are you a single mom? Are you a mom of 12? Are you a mom of 2? Do you have older kids? Do you have younger kids? Like, create those 3 things that I asked you guys to do at the beginning. Do that. And then Hammer and Chisel gets ready to come out. And what do? You totally do boosting. You don't totally do targeting. You don't post, like, let's say this was a Hammer and Chisel post, right? So maybe I have a picture of myself flexing. I do not mention Hammer and Chisel anywhere necessarily in my actual post, but I ask questions. Maybe I start my post with a question, what's your favorite bodybuilding workout, or to get whatever. You ask questions that are, pertain to you. And then you boost it. And when you boost it, you do bodybuilders, fitness competition. The whole 9 yards. I got a total of 48 leads when 21 Day Fix Extreme launched. I got 48 leads from Facebook doing boosts. Yeah. Just because I was so targeted. People were not seeing my posts unless they were like hardcore fitness competition, bodybuilders, etc. And so you've got to play around with it, but you've got to have a budget, put a tiny bit of money behind it, And so this is essentially the same type of stuff that you're going to do in ads, just another layer down. So if you've not done anything on your like page, I would play around with this for sure.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Absolutely.
So say you get these 48 people and then you personally go and talk to each and every one of them and have them become a challenger of yours. You get their business. What happens with those 48 people?
So it depends. So this gets into one of our topics for discussion. I'm going to stop sharing real quick so we can see everybody. That Marcia and Kristen and everybody else and Sharon have had on our mastermind call. My personal opinion is that you should somewhat interview somebody before you send them a link. There's the whole forming, right? And you have a conversation back and forth, understand what their goals are, are they motivated and all of that. But when it comes to whether they should be on your team, you should actually interview them.
Right.
Here's what I mean. So I did a post, the one that I was telling you guys about earlier, and I ended up having 17 people say I'm interested. And I messaged them all. We messaged back and forth. I ended up getting on the phone with, of the 17, 8 of them. And there were 2 people that I talked to that I didn't even offer the opportunity to because I wouldn't want them on my team. And people are like, oh my gosh, are you crazy? I'm like, no, I'm not. Because remember when I told you guys at the beginning that I had this major dip in my business after I hit 2-star? Well, that dip was because I had a bunch of coaches on my team that were polar opposite to me. So for some reason, I had got to a phase in my coaching business where I was attracting people that needed to be motivated. I don't know if you guys can relate, but motivation is internal, right? You can't motivate somebody. You can empower them, you can inspire them, but you can't actually motivate anybody. Motivation is an internal characteristic. And so what I had found was that I was attracting, because of the way I was posting, a whole bunch of people that needed me. They needed my motivation, or they needed me to try and motivate them. They needed my inspiration. They were very needy, and they were not driven. They were not self-motivated, and that's not who I want on my team. It's like this. Think about it like this. If I were to give you $100,000 right now and say, go open a 24-hour fitness, you would go find the location, you'd buy some equipment, and then the next thing you do is you'd start interviewing, right? So would you go randomly on Google and pull out a resume and call the person and say, you're hired? No, you wouldn't. You'd actually put them through an interview process so that you could determine if you actually want them on your team, if you actually want them to work for you. We should be treating our Beachbody businesses the same way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I think was your question too was, Danielle, was your question also I think what I was hearing was, so you get these 48 leads that are interested in size and just to even move them, the objection is to start communicating with them to move them into a challenge group.
And is the objective to move them into a challenge group, and then your goal is to have them become part of your team eventually? That's the real goal, right?
That would be in a perfect world, yes.
Right.
But like she was saying, you hope that,
Yeah.
You just have to find the right people.
So I run 2 types of ads. When I run ads, I run an ad for a challenge group, and then I run an ad for a coach, which is more based on health and, just more based on lifestyle, somebody that's trying to achieve a goal. So somebody that that's more on the coaching side of it. And then I convert my challengers based on how they interact in a challenge group. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I have 2 types of ads. My ads that are challengers, I'm just trying to get challengers in a group. And then I have ads that are just coaches. And then the challengers that are in my challenge group, then I am essentially interviewing them during the group to determine if I want to move them over.
Got it.
I think
that's how I do it.
I think targeting and boosting is, you have to think of Facebook as we come in and a lot, especially if you're new, you know, you have a lot of success because you've got this warm market, right? It's really great. You have all your friends and family and things just keep moving and you get referrals and those will still continue, but you'll get to a point where you have to, the circle has to get bigger. You know, we talk about inviting people. It's a vital behavior. You have to be inviting every day. And so what happens is a coach will be like, my list is gone. Like I used up my list. You never want to use up your list. So by starting to boost and target and really use Facebook as a tool to start to build your list is so important because that's how your list, that's how the world expands. That's how your market expands outside of that little warm, cozy. And I think this way you can do it in such a, kind of putting feelers out, right, CJ? And then people are going to bite and you're going to start building slowly those relationships with them. But I think the power of knowing to target is so important.
The power of targeting on Facebook, it increased, once I started doing it, increased my like page in a matter of like 2 months by 25%. And my reach was up my reach has been up like at least 100% week over week.
Yeah, that's really important because you can have a lot of people on Facebook. Like I don't have great engagement on my like page and it's something I'm really working on. I got a lot of people liking my page, you know, over 3,000. That's really great. But if nobody's engaging in it, it's not doing me any good.
Nope.
Yeah.
And then that's where the freemium comes in, right? And we won't get into that tonight, Marcia, but you know, I think the hardest part about having, I could sit here and give you like my top 10 tips for Facebook, but that's not going to help you any because that's not going to teach you how to apply it to your own world, which is why like I said earlier, our mastermind calls are amazing because we get on a call just like this. Somebody says, here's the problem I'm having. And boom, then we start to dissect it and brainstorm and come up with solutions. So the questions that you guys came up with, I mean, they're great. You know, here's my problem. How do I fix it? That's what we need in this business. We need to know how to fix the things that we're struggling with or we'll continue to struggle with them.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys all know, and if you don't know, you can quickly get on and Google them even, and we can, if you want, we can do a quick, you know, I can do a quick 3-minute video on the top. But, you know, most important thing is be yourself, post 3 to 5 times daily. You know, those true, you know, don't, like she said, don't kiss a Shakeology bottle. And we've all done it. We've all I have not kissed a Shakeology cup, but hey, I've been like, here's my shake, you know? And, you know, you can show your shake, just don't have it say Shakeology down the front or, you know, I mean, you got to kind of like, I say shake a lot. I don't say Shakeology. So those things I think you guys know pretty well. I think it's really important to start moving into a like page and really important to start using those ads. And, you know, sometimes we don't want to spend a little money, but we're business owners and $5 is like really amazing. It can be so cheap and it can give you a little bit of bang for your buck. I mean, it's amazing.
And when you're on your computer, you can actually boost it for like 2.
Yeah, you can. You can boost it for just a few dollars.
It's like the default, but you can actually change it to like 1 or 2. You don't have to do 5. Now, when you're on your phone, that's a little bit different. But when you're on the computer and it goes and it like populates with $5, like I do it so often now that mine now, when I go to boost on my phone, it populates with $60. I'm all, no, I'm not boosting crap for $60. Try again. You know, I just am looking at the 1s and the 2s and the 5s occasionally. So you can change it on the computer. You can't do it on your phone.
And one of the first things I'll boost, and I know you guys got to get off into your families and stuff. But one of the first things and we'll talk about freemiums another day as our team really gets into the like pages but free challenges. We're really big on free challenges, CJ, on our team. Most people, every coach runs, I think almost every coach runs a free challenge every month. And so I always boost my free challenge. And I get so many people from that. And I start conversations with them. Now they have to friend request me because I got to put them in a group and that starts the conversation. And maybe not all of them want to do that. But I ask, you know, I'll reply to them in a comment. Oh my God, I'm so excited, Sue, that you want to do my 5-day clean eating challenge. Just friend request me and I give a link. and I can set you, we'll connect. And so it's awesome. It's for $5, you can get all new eyes. All of a sudden, all these new eyes that you're going to put in a challenge group, you're going to start having relationships and connecting with them. And maybe they'll do 3 or 4 free challenges before they're like, okay, you're the real deal, and I'm going to join you in a challenge. Or maybe they're really like you and you want them to coach. So, I mean, just start, even if you just start with that, that's you're giving them something for free.
Right.
And that's in essence what a freemium is. It's a little more than that, but a free challenge is you're giving them a 10 or 5-day challenge for free with you. So that is like the best way to start targeting and boosting your posts. So.
Does anybody else have any like questions? I know this call was a little all over the map. I think it would have been better if we would have come with the problems and the questions that you guys had. So, but before we get off, because I know everybody's got to get to families, is there any like question out there that everybody's like, I want to know this?
Can be anything about Facebook.
I don't have a like page, so I don't know how to do that. So if you guys could do a little blurb on goal getters or something, that would be great. I'd like to do it, obviously. It sounds like it's a good idea.
Yeah, and
I'll send you the link for Jed.
Perfect.
Essentially, like they do a tutorial on it.
Awesome.
Really
Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah. And I'll post it on our page.
Perfect.
Cool.
Great. You guys, thank you. Thank you, CJ. Good luck in Tough Mudder.
Thank you.
Yes, good luck.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, you
Thank you,
guys.
CJ.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.